800-405-2561.
Welcome in to Picks and Parlays Radio here on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network. I'm your host, Chelsa Messinger. You can find me every day on Twitter. My handle is at Chelsa Messinger. And also check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube for Picks and Parlays. You just search Picks and Parlays, and we're usually the first thing that pops up, so not hard to find. We also stream the show live every weekday, 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern, on all of those social media platforms if you want to tune in that way. Today is Tuesday, September 24th, and we have a full slate of football and baseball on today's show. Big surprise there. Starting off with baseball, we've got a couple games on the docket today because a week left in the regular season means you can still win money in baseball. Don't forget about it. And also, we're talking Ohio State, Nebraska. Ohio State has been an incredible bet for the first half. It's been one of my favorite things to bet because I wake up at 9, I put my bet in. Or no, I have my bet in the night before, but I wake up at 9, I see him cash it, and then I go back to sleep. It's really nice. Then second segment, more college football with Joe Duffy on this segment. 3 games on the slate: Duke, Virginia Tech, USC, Washington, K-State at Oklahoma State. The Cowboys are 4-0 against the spread. Do they continue that run this week against K-State? And then finally, NFL football. Yeah, it's here. We're talking a few games with Tony T. Eagles, Packers, Titans, Falcons, and Pats, Bills. Can the Patriots continue to roll over an undefeated team in the Bills? The Bills are 3-0. Who would have thought? And then, what do you think about this Monday Night Football game last night, guys? Did you have the Bears? I like the Bears. It looked like a safe bet until towards the end, but luckily for Bears bettors, Case Keenum, he had 5 turnovers. Not great. And dysfunction continues to be a problem when it comes to Washington. I saw on the internet where one of their trainers was stirring the Gatorade with another Gatorade cup. Like, of all things. But yeah, the Redskins having issues again this season. Is Jay Gruden on the hot seat? I would probably say so. But we've got a great show for you guys today, starting off with baseball and a little college football after the break on Picks and Parlays Radio.
This fall, change your grass for the better with Labor Day savings of 10% off Scott's Turf Builder Winter Guard Fall Lawn Food at the Home Depot. Scott's feeds your lawn now to build strong, deep roots this winter and lush green grass next spring. Fall's the time to do it, and now's the time to save. Today is the day for Do It with Labor Day savings on Scott's Turf Builder Winter Guard. 10% off now at the Home Depot. More save it, more do it. Selection varies by store.
Do you owe $10,000 or more on at least 2 federal student loans? Then you may qualify for new programs offered by the Department of Education. These programs can reduce your interest, lower your payments, and possibly qualify you for loan forgiveness. If you have $10,000 or more and at least 2 federal student loans and currently not in school, you may qualify for one of these programs. Call now to check your eligibility. Student loan advisors are standing by to help you determine if you qualify for these new programs. They can help you reduce your interest, lower your payment, and even forgive a portion of your student loan debt. Take control of your financial future. Make this free 5-minute free call now to Nationwide Student Loans and learn how you can reduce your student loan debt.
800-439-7851, 800-439-7851, 800-439-7851, 800-439-7851.
It has been said that everyone has a book in them. But do you have the time or the ability to write your book? Maybe you picked up some skills or had a life experience that you want to pass on in the form of a book to help others. Maybe you want to leave an autobiography for your family. Or maybe you've built a successful business and you want to share your story. At Dorrance Publishing Company, we have professional writers who can help turn your book idea into a finished manuscript quickly and affordably. A Dorrance ghostwriter can provide as much or as little help as you need to complete your book. You'll work directly with your ghostwriter to finish your book faster than you ever could on your own. It's easy to become a published author. Call Dorrance now to learn more. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. Call right now. That number is 800-485-6003.
Dell Semi-Annual Sale is officially on. You now have the rare chance to get the latest Dell and Alienware computers with Intel Core processors at 17% off. A discount usually reserved just for Dell employees. Shop a wide selection of leading-edge Dell and Alienware monitors and more, all with free shipping. Call 800-BUY-DELL or go to Dell.com/semi-annual sale to enjoy huge limited-time employee savings. That's 800-BUY-DELL.
And we're back on Picks and Parlays Radio here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network and also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. I am your host, Chelsa Messinger. Let's get right to it. Let's start off today's show with a little baseball. We've got Craig Trapp joining us here in Las Vegas in the studio. Hello, Craig.
How we doing? I'm glad weather has went down about 15 degrees since I was here just a week and a half ago, and hopefully that means our picks heat up as well.
Oh, great.
Hopefully. They were better yesterday. At least I hit the Monday Night Football game. I had the over.
Oh, yeah, you picked the Bears, didn't you?
I like the Bears and the over, so I hit both sides of it. So pretty excited. It's a good start. Anytime your first day in Vegas, you hit both sides of the game, and I had a parlay. That's always a good start. And excited about baseball tonight. I think this is the time of year you can really make money betting some of these underdogs in baseball.
For value picks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all right, so let's dive into some of those, starting with the Cubs and the Pirates. The Pirates are eliminated by a long shot. The Cubs are 4 games back out of the National League wild card, which I guess maybe they're still in it. I don't really want to do the math. I think there's 7 games left.
Well, the problem in that division is it seems like all those teams are, yes, still in it, but they're all kind of playing each other a little bit, and
I think
they would need a lot to fall right to make it at this point, especially banged up.
The Cubs have to play, I think, the Cardinals after this, so that's not an easy task by any stretch. Tonight it's Kyle Hendricks on the mound for the Cubs, one of their better starters, 11-9, 3.37 ERA. He's been good recently, and he's also been good against the Pirates. 6 innings, 1 run last time out, and he has a 2.25 against the Pirates this season. However, we talked about value picks. Do you like the value pick here?
No, I mean, this one you got to lay -175 with the Cubs team that's just, banged up to no end. The whole season's really been that way, but even more so right now. And Kyle Hendricks, his last 5 starts, he's been good in 4 of them, but the last start was his bad one. 4 earned runs, just 5 innings. I think you have to play against them on the road because we know how bad the Cubs were. The Cubs would be in the playoffs already if they were just 500 on the road. They are terrible on the road.
And they've been bad recently. They've lost 6 in a row.
And the Pirates have lost, 9
in a row.
So they're not a whole lot better, but at least we're getting
better
them
value.
At home. You're getting them at +155. And Mitch Keller, yes, he's not been very good this year.
1-5 with a 7.74. I think you're giving him some credit.
I might be overstating this, but at least last time out, it was one of his best starts of the year. I think Mitch Keller tonight, with the value here at +155, is a nice play because the Cubs on the road just aren't very good. So playing against the Cubs this year, it's one of the best bets you could have made. If you played against the Cubs every game this year on the road, you would be rolling in the money.
Well, and also, it hasn't been the Cubs' rotation that's been the issue. It's been the Cubs' bullpen. Craig Kimbrell, since coming back from the IL, has been an absolute problem. He's been giving up leads left and right. I don't know how much you use him after that, but the bullpen for the Cubs has been absolutely dreadful, and that's the worst way to lose games is when you have a lead going into the 9th and you blow it. And
the Mitch Keller, the last time out, he had 7 strikeouts, just 5 innings, 2 earned runs. Like I said, probably his best start of his last 10. So a little positive there, and then you give me that +155. That's why we're taking this one. And I think it's worth the value on this one.
Right. That's why I mentioned the value pick at the first segment, because I was trying to lead to that.
Good setup. I appreciate it.
And I didn't think you caught my drift.
No, I know.
But all right, so let's talk about another big favorite, I would assume. The Dodgers going on the road to play the Padres. Rich Hill has not pitched in 3 months. It's his first time back, I believe. He's 4-1 with a 2.68 ERA this season, but again, he hasn't pitched in 3 months. So what are we expecting out of this one?
Well, you cannot take the Dodgers here at minus 230. They have nothing left to play for. The minus 230 with a total of 9 in this one. You have to either lay the run line if you're going to take the Dodgers, or you take the big price, which is what I'm going to do here, and the Padres. I just think, to me, at this point in the season, once these teams clear, and they have nothing left to play for except, keeping people in rhythm and getting Rich Hill back. The idea is that he's going to hopefully be probably their third starter or fourth starter in the playoffs. So they want to get him warmed up, but I don't expect he'll go past 3 or 4 innings today.
I was going to say, I bet he's on a short leash.
Very short pitch count here because he does have that history of blisters on his fingers, on his throwing hand, and I think that will be why they keep him out of this one after, say, 3 or 4 innings. And the Dodgers bullpen has not been as good as years past. I like the Padres here at plus 185 as a home underdog. There's some huge prices on underdogs, and this is one of them, and I think it's well worth betting these huge odds as an underdog with the home underdog in the Padres.
There was a stat that I would like to see is teams after they've clinched. After the game, that they're popping champagne in the locker room. I would love to see that stat. I don't know if the Dodgers have clinched officially yet. Have they? Does anybody know?
I believe so. I mean, they're at the century mark now.
They have 100. Yeah, if you have 100 wins,
I'm sure they're good at this point. But the key for me in this one is the road, because at home the Dodgers are
almost unbeatable.
Almost unbeatable.
Right.
One of the, like we said in the last matchup, one of the best bets was betting against the Cubs on the road. One of the best bets is also betting the Dodgers at home. Even when you're laying run line this year, they were amazing.
Right. Houston's been really good at home too, as well. All right, so let's get to some college football. Let's start off with Ohio State and Nebraska. Ohio State is 4-0 this season. They're the number 5 team in the land, 3-1 against the spread. Nebraska 1-3 against the spread, but 3-1 overall. Thoughts on this one?
Well, this line opened, and I think there was an advanced line. This opened as Ohio State at 14.5. We see this line all the way up to 17.5 currently, and the total at 67 or 67.5 out there. I think there's a lot of value still on Ohio State, even though that odds has been pumped up there. I don't think Ohio State's going to overlook them. Remember, Nebraska almost upset them last year. It was 36-31 last year, with, of course, Nebraska covering at Ohio State and having a shot late. And so I think this one, you'll see Ohio State remember that game, and I don't think Ryan Day will have any problem getting them up for this game. And it's the first road matchup for Ohio State, so I think Ohio State will be up for this one. I think you lay the points here. I just think Ohio State is clearly a top 4 team in the country right now, and I think they're out to prove that with an impressive road victory here at Nebraska.
Right, you mentioned last year's score, but it seems like this year has been 2 completely opposite different teams. Ohio State has been impressive in every facet of football. Their offense has been rolling. Their defense shut out Cincinnati, which is a pretty decent team. I think we mentioned some of the size concerns we had up front, but Nebraska on the other side of the coin, they lost to Colorado. They blew that lead. It was not impressive, and they weren't even that impressive against South Alabama, a 35-21 win.
Well, and last week they only won 42-38 at Illinois, but Illinois is not going to be a team that is good. And also, I think the Indiana win was pretty impressive. I said it was
on the road too.
I said that was this is their first road game. This is actually their second road game. They won 51-10 at Indiana, which I think that Indiana offense is pretty good. So their defense is playing extremely well, allowing less than 9 points a game. I think Ohio State is out to prove that not only are they the best team in the Big Ten, which I think that's pretty clear. I guess Wisconsin could make a small argument there, but I think they're out to prove that they belong with the Alabama and Clemson right now, which is most people's 1 and 2.
Well, that's most of college football is a lot of these teams have to prove that they belong in the top 4. Granted, Ohio State has some games towards the end of the year. We thought it was going to be Michigan, but is that even a meaningful win anymore?
It won't be. Ohio State, they will play Wisconsin, and that will be their chance to prove outside of this game, I think. I think those are 2 toughest games left. I don't think Penn State's very good, but I guess Penn State could prove us wrong here in the next few weeks. But to me, I think it really comes down to this game. The 2 games that they could have a misstep would be Nebraska and Wisconsin. I don't think they have any missteps this year. I think this team goes undefeated. I think they prove it. I think Justin Fields is outside of what we've talked about with Hurd at
Jalen Hurts
with Oklahoma and Tua And I think those two are probably, and then Justin Fields is number 3 as far
And then
as.
Trevor Lawrence, I mean.
Well, he was up for it, but I don't think he's had quite the numbers everybody expected. So I'd say those 3 are the top, and Fields could really put up some points because I think this one's also going to go over the total at 67. I think we saw this one, like I said, last year, 36 to 31. I think this one goes over as well this week, and I think Ohio State wins and wins impressively, covering the 17.5.
And something also you've got to bring up is the turnovers. Justin Fields has been really good with the football. 13 touchdowns, no interceptions. Meanwhile, Nebraska has 11 fumbles this season. Could spell trouble.
Ohio State, this isn't a team you want to give extra possessions to. So
Right.
if they do that, this game will be over by halftime. Really, Colorado, their only really impressive, or Nebraska's only impressive performance was that first half against Colorado, and then the second half they fell apart and lost.
All right, there you have it. He likes Ohio State. All right, we're back after the break on Picks and Parlays Radio with more college football.
Attention business owners. Are you struggling while waiting for your customers to pay on their net 30, 60, or 90-day invoices? Can't get a business loan? Have no equity? Bad credit? Or maybe no credit at all? Then you need to call AmeriFactors right now. AmeriFactors will give you cash for your invoices and there's nothing to pay back. We simply buy your account receivables, and if those clients don't pay on the invoices, we take the loss. We give you funds based on your account receivables, not your credit, and 98% of all applicants are approved. It's that simple. With AmeriFactors, there's no more waiting for your customers to pay. We give you the funds up front, then we wait for your customers to pay us. Fund your business today. Call AmeriFactors right now.
800-847-1183. 800-847-1183. 800-847-1183. That's 800-847-1183.
Imagine this is your money and someone wants to take it from you. Who is it? The IRS. They want your money, and guess what? They can legally take it, all of it if they want. Remember, they sent you that letter that said, hey, you owe us a bunch of cash and we're going to take it from you. So what do? Fight back by letting our team of experts at the tax helpline work it out with the IRS so you can keep your money. And we're good at what we do. When you hire us, you get a team of guys on your side that know the IRS laws and will fight to save your money. So, if you owe the IRS a ton of cash and you want to keep it, call right now and learn for free how we can help you put it back in your pocket.
800-932-1749. 800-932-1749. 800-932-1749. That's 800-932-1749.
Are you an active stock market investor? Well, then you know these 3 key words: buy, sell, hold. Those 3 magic words can make or lose you money in the stock market. What if we can show you a time-tested tool that's been helping stock market investors succeed for over 30 years? It's called VectorVest, an amazing system designed to make smart investing easy. The VectorVest system analyzes, sorts, and ranks over 19,000 stocks every day and tells you when to buy, what to buy, and when to sell any stock to maximize your profits in less than 10 minutes a day. And if you call right now, you can test drive our amazing VectorVest system risk-free for 30 days for just $9.95.
800-584-2519. 800-584-2519. 800-584-2519. That's 800-584-2519.
Welcome back to Picks and Parlays Radio here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network and also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. I am your host, Chelsa Messinger, and I am joined now by Joe Duffy. Hello, Joe. How was your weekend?
Pretty good, Chelsa. Very good weekend as far as winning is concerned, especially in the NFL, where I went 7-1 at picksandparlays.net. So our proprietary system's doing well, and it's going to do just as well this weekend, even better in college football.
All right. I like your Ohio State pullover. You got the Buckeyes this weekend?
I do not, but I think as I talked before, and I know, sometimes I wear some of my Ohio State swag with Tony T and his tremendous podcast that he does for picks and parlays. My oldest son goes to the Ohio State, and every time we go to Columbus, I come back with more swag. So, that's the main reason. But yeah, we love Ohio State. We love the campus and Columbus, Ohio. But no, I don't think I'm picking them this weekend.
Oh, well, bet with your head, not your heart, right?
Yeah, I got a big head and a big heart.
All right, let's dive into some of these college football games, starting with the Friday night game. Duke, Virginia Tech, the Hokies are favored by 3 in this one. Total sits at 52, at least the numbers that I'm getting. Thoughts on this one, and do you like the underdogs to possibly cover?
Well, Duke's Quentin Harris has done quite well, replacing Daniel Jones. Of course, we all know about Daniel Jones, one of the more controversial first-round picks in a couple years. But right now, so far, they're doing pretty well without him. As I said, Harris has done extremely well. His offensive line has been very good. There were some question marks about the offensive line coming into the year. What's quite interesting is because of Harris, it's been a pleasant surprise. Duke's passing game has really outperformed expectations, but their running game not as good as expected. So will this week off, is that going to mean that both units are going to regress to the mean? Will the running game get a little bit better, and will the passing game, though, be able to maintain it? I think this week we're going to see a little bit better running game, but not quite as good of a passing game, as each one of these teams are off of a bye.
Right. Virginia Tech is 0-3 against the spread. Does that scare you if you were thinking of taking them here?
Yeah, not only is Virginia Tech 0-3 against the spread, they are minus 14.8 margin of cover, a sweat barometer, as some people like to call it, which is the third worst in the country. No, even though, as I say, college football tends to be a momentum sport, I did look it up. Teams that are 0-3 against the spread and have been outscored by at least 14 points, 13 points, 12 points to the number. There's not really much to go by. Now, a little bit of a tease, that's one of the most valuable statistics in the NBA. Margin of cover is a tremendous valuable statistic in the NBA, not so much in college football. So now when a team is generally that bad, my computer says they're not either, a strong go against or a strong go for.
Craig and I were talking about this, I can't remember if it was before the show or on the show, but Virginia Tech is 13-2 against Duke since joining the ACC. Do you think that stat matters? Do you think in college football that some of these teams just have another team's number, or is it, a different team every year?
I do think there is a certain thing about the uniforms they wear where one team has a mental edge because of the history over other teams. Look, we saw it right here in Georgia, where it took a long time for Georgia to overcome the mental whammy that Florida had over them, even though Mark Richt had some teams that were better than Florida, and then Florida kept beating them. But as far as 13-2, not really. Of course, it goes back to Frank Beamer when they were still a major powerhouse when they first came into the Atlantic Coast Conference. And Duke was a laughingstock, and obviously, Duke's program has been turned around, certainly since they hired the Manning's boy, to turn around the program. So, no, these are two teams that are definitely headed in completely different directions when Virginia Tech first entered the ACC. So under certain circumstances, I do think there is a mental edge one team has over the other, but I don't think that applies here.
All right, so who are you taking?
This is a game where I'm going to wind up having both the side and total and picks and parlays. I wasn't all that sure, so I'm gonna pass. Although I would say that for those who bet the money line, I would lean towards Virginia Tech on the money line. I think when I looked at it, it was about minus 160.
All right, so let's move on to USC and Washington. Washington favored in this one, minus 10. Total sits at 59.5. Do either of those look especially juicy to you?
Yeah, well, USC, I'm not that big into looking at the common opponents, but, from my I'll report, you decide type thing, USC, they did lose in overtime to BYU, and Washington crushed BYU last week, 45-19. It's quite the interesting game. I think if anything, the live total would be a pretty good bet where you just bet opposite of whatever's happening. USC, they have a very young but talented secondary. They can make big plays, but they've been susceptible to big plays both on the run and on the pass. So what I'm saying is, if it's a high-scoring game, I would strongly look at the adjusted total to bet it under, and likewise, if it's a low-scoring game, to bet the adjusted total over, the adjusted line, because I think this is going to be a game where USC, their defense is going to look tremendous for one quarter and maybe horrible the next quarter. They're very good and very talented, but they can be beaten with the big play.
It seems like USC, on the flip side, had make some big plays themselves. We saw it against Utah, where they really exploited that mismatch with the cornerbacks and the tall receivers for USC, and they were making some huge plays, and they're now on their third-string quarterback, but somehow they're just throwing up these jump balls, and the receivers are making these plays for big gains. Do you see that happening again against this Washington defense that's supposed to be good?
Yeah, USC's a dangerous team. I'm a little bit surprised that they're 3-11 as an underdog under Clay Helton against the spread, because usually, look, Helton's one of these guys. He's been criticized as a coach. A lot of people think he hasn't gotten the most out of his talent. As a general rule of thumb, coaches like that, I always like when there's a big underdog, because it fits in the predictably unpredictable category. I would think that Helton would be very dangerous as a dog, but a good fade as a big favorite. Now, this year, that's kind of held up. They've beaten both ranked opponents, Stanford and Utah, although Stanford turned out to be kind of a paper tiger anyway. But yeah, I still think despite that stat I just gave you, they're very dangerous as an underdog. And I just think this USC team is destined to lose games they should win and win games they should lose. So I would be a little bit worried if I were Washington this week.
And especially when you're talking about a point spread of 10 points, when you're talking about garbage time and teams that can really move the football, USC throws the ball. So late in the game, it just worries me that USC can come back and really cover that spread if you're taking Washington there.
Yeah, and USC's defensive line has been pretty strong this year, so they can certainly force the turnover. And yeah, you're right. If Washington is up by 17 points late, they got the backup quarterback in there. USC is capable of forcing a turnover, and you're still talking about a conference game. It's a little bit of a cliche, and I say that because it doesn't hold up that much when I've looked it up. But still, bigger dogs are generally a little bit better in conference play than non-conference play, and since this is a conference game and USC's fighting for some respectability, you could see where USC keeping it close is more important to them than Washington making any type of statement here.
Right, and entering the season, Washington at least had one of the better home field advantages in all of college football. Do you see that being a factor?
Yeah, it definitely is, but it's more than taken into consideration in the line. Like I said, right. USC is a team that's got some pretty good talent. They've already beaten two ranked opponents, although, with an asterisk next to Stanford, but still, if the point spread were 5 or 6 or, even 8, maybe, but 10 is a pretty lot of points against a team that's very dangerous in USC.
All right, so let's move on to Kansas State and Oklahoma State. The Cowboys are 4-0 against the spread, which is the number that we like to look at. They're also 3-1 overall. K-State, 3-0 against the spread. How do you see this one lining up?
Yeah, well, Oklahoma State, they're off of their first loss and then fading teams off of their first loss that had at least 3 wins. Is a very solid play of 449, 359, and 16. And when you're betting on the team that's on the road, 239 and 178 for 57.3%. Now, Kansas State, as you said, they've been tremendous this year. They have the best margin of cover in the country, covering by an average of 17.8 points per game. That being said, look, OSU, they're very dangerous. They're super talented at the skilled position. Still, it looks like so far the odds makers have been a little bit behind Kansas State.
Right. Kansas State, of course, coming off that big win over Mississippi State on the road with the Cowbells as a 7-point underdog, which is quite impressive in my eyes. I don't think I've mentioned the line. Oklahoma State -5, total sits at 60. Those are the numbers I'm seeing. Looking at those numbers, do you like Oklahoma State to cover here?
No, I'm actually going to go with Kansas State. Look, Oklahoma State, they are, and you're right. Anytime you beat an SEC team, now the truth is the SEC is very top heavy. Once you get past, the big boys like Alabama and Georgia, and of course this year certainly LSU is a heck of a team. It starts to drop off, but still, anytime you can beat an SEC team, that is pretty impressive. And yeah, those cowbells. I've been in a couple sports bars where the Mississippi State fan club's been there. I haven't been in their stadium, but I've been in some sports bars. I know how annoying they can be. But Oklahoma State with Tylan Wallace, he's very dangerous, and Cuba Hubbard also as well. So Oklahoma State's a tough team to bet against because they're capable of scoring in bunches, which the total implies. But still, I think Kansas State is good enough to stay within the number.
Right, and we have to mention that Oklahoma State 36-30 loss to Texas. There's no such thing as quality losses, but it seems like a quality loss to me, I suppose. Yeah,
and I got to give Texas credit. They have completely turned around their program. Texas is a very good team, but a quality loss, yeah. But the game immediately after that, like I said, my proprietary software says this is where a team has the win taken out of their sail. So maybe it'll be a quality loss when you're talking about bowl pairings and all that. But as far as the game after,
gotta wrap you up. We're heading to break. We're back after the break on Picks and Parlays Radio.
It's Overwork Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts, where you can earn bonus points on more than 250 offers. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store today or browse through our offers at O'ReillyAuto.com, where you can earn double points shopping online. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
At 28, I had struggled with opiate and meth addiction for 12 years. I did and said things that the sober me never would have done. One day I realized I was not invincible. I was not exempt. And that's when a friend told me about Elite Rehab Placement. They gave me the tools I needed to get sober, and all it took was the one phone call.
Elite Rehab can help you start to break your addiction problem and get sober in as little as 7 days. And we'll work with your insurance provider to help cover the costs. Plus, we have travel assistance programs to get you here by plane or train. Make this free call right now to learn more.
800-403-5912. 800-403-5912. 800-403-5912. That's 800-403-5912.
Hey, travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first-class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780.
Hey,
Bench, what are you doing?
I'm rubbing my Blue Emu on.
Were you ready to go fishing?
Fishing?
You said we were going fishing this morning.
I have 10 Gold Glove awards.
Here we go again.
Johnny Bench doesn't go fishing.
Yeah, I know.
Johnny Bench goes catching. Blue Emu supports healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu. It works fast and you won't stink. Available at nationwide retailers and Amazon.
Welcome back to Picks and Parlays Radio here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. I'm your host, Chelsa Messinger. You can find me here every day, 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern, and also on Twitter. And you can watch the show live on any of your favorite social media platforms every weekday. Just search Picks and Parlays. We're really easy to find. Right now, let's get into some NFL action. We've got Tony T in the studio. Oh, I just kicked the desk.
Guys, it wasn't my leg.
Right.
If you took my pick yesterday, it should have been my leg.
Oh, well, to be fair, the Redskins almost covered.
Almost. Yeah, a little almost
Towards
there.
the end. Towards
Yeah.
the end.
Yeah. Yeah, towards the end there. And, I was watching the game, and I was watching with Craig, and I was looking at how much separation the Bears receivers had, and I thought to myself, Mitch Trubisky must feel like he's in college again.
Right.
I mean, all these open receivers, and there's some problems there with the Redskins defense, no doubt about it. But, boy, Mitchell Trubisky, he'll never get easier touchdown passes in your NFL career than yesterday.
Right. I was wondering when the Bears offense was going to really start clicking, and, I mean, that one seemed ripe for the picking just because the Redskins, as you mentioned, their defense. Even though I thought that one touchdown was not a touchdown, the one where he, who was that?
Gabriel?
Yeah, that was a tough call.
Yeah, there was definitely movement in the ball as he was coming down. And I was worried when I saw Walt Anderson, the referee, look at that. I didn't think he would be sharp enough to catch that, and he did what he was, and obviously he missed the call. He was the same. I told Craig, this is the same crew that reffed the Saints-Rams game from the week before.
Oh, no.
So I put those two together.
Well, luckily the Redskins fans aren't as vocal as the Saints fans.
Oh,
and there's not as much on the line. Nobody's going to a Super Bowl after this one. But let's dive into some of these games for this week. The Thursday game, Eagles-Packers. Packers favored -4.5. Total sits at 45. The Eagles have been one of those teams that they're supposed to be good, but they've really baffled some bettors so far this season. Meanwhile, the Packers are 3-0 and 3-0 against the spread.
They are, and they've won each game by 5 points or greater. So we have a line here of 4.5 and a short week here for Philadelphia and both teams here. But I'm going to look at the Packers here at -4.5. I'm impressed with their wins to the Bears, Vikings, and of course last week against Denver. But as we talk about the Eagles, they're dealing with injury concerns here.
Right.
Jeffrey, he may play, but again, Deshaun Jackson's hurt. I said Whiteside is injured, and of course you factor that as well as how poorly the Eagles defense has played this year. I mean, even the Redskins were able to put a cover against them, and we saw how bad the Redskins were last week. I mean, they're giving up 293 yards a game defensively. Opponents are completing 63% of their passes. And of course, we could also mention how good the Packers defense has been this year. The Packers playing great
that's
defensively.
kind of been the surprise because obviously you see Aaron Rodgers on paper and you just automatically think that the Packers offense is going to be good, flying high. And I mean, to their credit, they've been scoring some points, but it's not the high-powered offense that maybe you'd expect. Obviously, they're running a new offense. They've got a new head coach. But also something of note, the under and the underdogs are 3-0 on Thursday Night Football this year.
Yeah, we've seen some really low-scoring games. Part of it's put the matchups here. The Carolina was struggling offensively. We saw your Titans and Jacksonville Jaguars.
I don't want to talk about it.
We'll be talking about them pretty soon. Trust me, we will be. Yeah, it was. I think a lot of it's the matchups in this one. I was kind of thinking the over in this game, but then I thought again with the Packers defense, I was really happy with the way the Packers are playing defensively. I feel more comfortable here laying the points. Of course, Packers had a good coverage against the Eagles, covering what we've got here, 5 of their past 6, so pretty good trend there.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if the Eagles, maybe their luck changes at some point, because they are a good team. As you mentioned, they do have a lot of injuries, and the problem is their offensive line probably needs to give Wentz a little more time to throw it, because that's hard for any quarterback to make those plays, especially when you don't have your best receivers.
That's the key. Are they going to run the ball? But that's not the Eagles' game plan. I mean, they like Wentz out of the shotgun, and of course the Packers are going to be at home, and I think that's going to push them over the top in this one.
Right. It is at Lambeau.
Yep.
Worth noting, because usually that's 3 points, automatically.
And it's tougher on the short week having to make the travel when you lose practice time.
Right. All right. So let's move on to the Titans and the Falcons. These are two teams that if you're a fan of either of them, you have experienced a lot of disappointment this season. The Titans, my team, of course, started off hot with that big 30-point win on the road to the Browns, but then they lost to the Colts. They lost to the Jaguars. So it's hard for me to take them. I know, just as a fan, I'm not gonna lay the money for them, but Falcons favored by 4. Total sits at 45.5.
Yes, it's a low total there. But, I'm gonna take the Atlanta Falcons -4. You know, in these games involving AFC versus NFC, I always lean toward the offense because these teams are not very familiar with each other. They play once every 4 years. And of course, you look at the playmakers here on the Atlanta Falcons: Julio Jones, Sanu, Calvin Ridley. These are very good receivers. And I know Julio Jones. And we know that Atlanta operates much better at home. You don't have to deal with the crowd noise. The offensive line will play better at home than they do on the road. Ryan will be up right here. And of course, I like to favor the offenses in these matchups. So I will definitely look at Atlanta. But Titans giving up 9, getting up sacks. They can't block. We talked about this even in the preseason with Tennessee's injuries at the offensive line.
Well, and Taylor Lewan is out. He's suspended, and he's suspended for this game. He's suspended for the first 4 games of the season, which means he will be back, but not for this game.
That's correct. And of course, you got to worry about that being, on the road in a dome here. The Atlanta will be sparked up a little bit, I think, in this situation. They got to win. They want to bounce back after some poor showing. So I like Atlanta here laying the 4. I know it's more than a field goal. And I know Atlanta has a tendency to play close games. But again, AFC, NFC, the Titans not familiar with these playmakers for the Falcons.
Here's the problem I have with the Falcons. On paper, they look like that offense should be good. But yet, the most points they've scored this season are 24.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Matt Ryan's supposed to be this great quarterback. They've got these great receivers. Devontae Freeman is healthy again. What's going on?
Yeah, and a lot of it, in fact, has been the play of the offensive line for the Falcons, not protecting Ryan. He's getting a lot of hits, and of course they have suffered some bad luck injury-wise in the defense. I think they just lost another safety last week, so it's in that loss to the Colts. They did fight back and make it a competitive game. Give them credit for that. But again, it's the opponent you're looking at here, Tennessee, who really just can't really do much offensively. It's been a disappointment. Look at the Falcons, top 3rd in the league offensively on 3rd down and the red zone. So that's something to note there, especially when you're laying 4 here. I think you'll get some touchdowns here from the Falcons.
Right. The Titans' defense is supposed to be their strong point this season. They gave up 20 to Jacksonville, even though I will say Gardner Minshew was making some of those throws that I don't know how you defend against. He was threading the needle.
It was quarterback play, and Minshew, a 72% completion rate this year, really good for Jacksonville. But one thing about the Tennessee defense, when you get in the red zone, they're 30th in the league in defending the red zone. So that's another benefit here for Atlanta here to cover this one, is Tennessee has not been good in those situations.
Although I guess they gave up 19 to the Colts and only 13 to the Browns. I know at this point it's still a small sample size, so it's hard to tell. Another stat I'd like to bring up: both teams, their only win has come as an underdog. So is the spotlight too bright for the Falcons?
Yeah, it's a real small sample size here in week 4. But again, you look at AFC versus NFC, and I think you have to look at that through a different lens.
Right. Yeah, and the Falcons are at home too, which you'd think would make a difference.
It does make a difference with their pass blocking, because when I don't like Atlanta on the road, we saw that game against Minnesota. I mean, and of course we said Minnesota's going to make a lot of teams look bad when they play in their Viking Stadium, but at home the Falcons block better. Their offensive line does.
So just to circle back, you're taking the Falcons.
I'll take the Falcons here at -4.
-4. Okay. Let's move on to the battle of the undefeated. The Patriots, of course, 3-0, 2-1 against the spread. Against the Bills. Yeah, the Bills are 3-0 this season, 2-1 against the spread. Pats favored by 7. Total sits at 42.5. What do you like in this one?
Well, I like New England Patriots here at -7. Not all 3-0 teams are not the same. When you look at this Buffalo Bills team, hey, I like their firepower. I like the way they play. Defensively, they played well, but they've beaten the Giants. They've beaten the Jets. They've beaten the Bengals.
Right.
Teams that will not see the postseason. And you're looking at New England here, a team that has dominated Buffalo. 14 covers in their past 17 meetings head-to-head. They've covered four of their past 5 against Buffalo over on the road. New England's had really good success against Buffalo. And of course, you look at the difference between Allen and Brady. Brady with these weapons offensively, loaded with backs that can run and throw and play and catch the ball out of the backfield. His receiving core is outstanding. I have to look here at New England in this game.
Right. Coming into the season, we didn't think the Patriots would be quite as talented as they look now, and especially their defense looks good too.
Oh.
It's not the Tom Brady show.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm glad you mentioned that, because they're only allowing 199 yards a game. Think about that. And less than 6 points
to
a
be
contest.
fair, they have played the Dolphins, which
sure.
immediately is a stat booster, and they've played the Jets.
Right. You have to look. And they played the Steelers, who we know now the defense has been disastrous for the Pittsburgh. But yeah, I mean, both teams coming in with resumes with 3-0 teams as well. The teams are beaten aren't the greatest, but again, you look at historical trends here, how well Brady and Belichick have handled Buffalo, and you look at the quarterback comparisons with Brady and Allen. I definitely have to look at the and the playmakers for the New England Patriots. And you said again, you brought it up. The defensive help, even against these bad teams, they've been able to perform, and I like that. And one thing to note here with the Buffalo Bills, they couldn't get separation against Cincinnati. They had trouble getting separation against the Giants. Buffalo Bills have not put together two good halves of football. It's always been one subpar half, another good half. Against the Patriots, you cannot do that.
Well, and the Bills have gotten lucky, and some of these have been really close games. I remember that Jets game. The Jets should have won that game.
Yeah, the Jets should have won that game because Buffalo had a terrible first half.
Right.
And against Cincinnati, Buffalo had a terrible second half. So they haven't been able to put those two good halves of football together, and that's where I think that's where New England can really pretty much put them away, I believe, in this one.
So something interesting last game when the Patriots were playing the Jets, and they were supposed to be, well, some of us really hoped that they would cover. They put Tom Brady back in.
Oh.
So,
well, you know,
something you like to see is better, even though they didn't cover.
He's done that in the past. I've seen him do that in the past before when he put in a backup. The name escapes. It wasn't Brian Hoyer, but
it was Jared Stidham.
Jared Stidham,
who went to Auburn.
This year, but he has done that before in the past. In the years that he's been a head coach with the Patriots, he has put in a backup, and as soon as he throws a pick, he's benched and Brady back in.
The leash.
He's done that before more than once, but there's probably been about 3 or 4 years between issues, between the circumstances.
Right, but as a bettor, that's something you like to see.
You do, yeah, you do like to see that because you know you're not going to have another pick six, and of course Brady may answer back with a touchdown there. But
right.
I think he's just looking for ball possession. Don't give away the game. He probably stayed up late and watched that UCLA Washington State game.
Oh man,
how you let other teams get back in the game is throwing pick sixes.
Right, and Tom is very competitive. It's so funny to me when you see a young quarterback on his team make a touchdown. He doesn't look like he's celebrating.
I remember now it was Max Gutierrez, the old backup. Went into a game for Brady. They were blowing out a team, and it was a bigger, wider margin than this. He throws a pick, he's benched, and here comes Brady again. I remember that game exactly.
It's funny because if anybody should have confidence in their starting role, it should be Tom Brady, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's older, but I don't know. That's why he's a competitor. He's been doubted his whole life, I suppose.
Oh yeah, I mean it's just no greater football player in my lifetime. You know, playing this good beyond 40 blows my mind.
I always wonder if Tom Brady would be just as good if he didn't have Bill Belichick.
Good question. I don't think he'd be as healthy. I don't think he'd get the pass protection. You know, he had one season where he missed most of in that Kansas City game, and it wasn't even his fault because the running back missed a block and the defender happened to hit his knee. That was the only time he's sat for a long period of time.
Right. Well, and just the ownership and the front office, because some of these players, I'm wondering if it would go differently if they had a front office. Because you look at Cleveland and their front office that has been notably bad, the Haslams and then Freddie Kitchens, he hasn't really impressed me in his head coaching debut. It just makes me wonder. Yeah,
it does make me wonder there. And of course, the game I'm looking forward to is the Saints at Cowboys at Saints, with the Cowboys favored 2.5. That's something I'm going to keep an eye on. How can Ezekiel Elliott run against that Saints defense who's given up almost 5 yards a carry on the ground? That's a game that I'm really excited about.
That's almost one of those games I don't want to bet because I want to watch it.
Yeah. It would open 3, and now we're seeing Saint money. Now Dallas favored minus 2.5 on the road.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's our NFL segment. We're back after the break on Picks and Parlays Radio.
The blue pill to charge your sex life? Have you been thinking about trying the blue pill? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pill delivers the exact same results for less than $3. We'll do the math for you. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. Want more? We'll give you 40 blue pills or 40 yellow pills for $99 and add 4 more pills free. You save more than $500. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know what to do next. You need to call and get your 44 pills for just $99. Stop overpaying for the other blue pills. Call us and start saving a ton of money for the exact same results. Ordering is fast and easy with your pills delivered to your door in a non-marked package. 800-223-0992. 800-223-0992. 800-223-0992. That's 800-223-0992.
Not too long ago, it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank, didn't it? For a vacation or a new car. But today, withdrawing your own cash has become risky. Pat Boone here for Swiss America. According to The Secret War, a new Swiss America white paper, I learned that all banks are now required to spy on you and me for the government, and then report any financial behavior deemed suspicious or unusual. You must read The Secret War. It's free. Truth is, I believe the government's new war against cash is really a war against us all. But The Secret is now out. So please, get and read The Secret War.
Pick up your phone and call right now. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. Once again, that's 800-932-5517.
Money Now 100 is not a lender, broker, or agent of any lender or financial advisor. We do not make loans or credit decisions. You must be 18 years or older and a U.S. resident to qualify. This is not an offer or solicitation to lend. I went to MoneyNow100.com and got the $5,000 I needed deposited in my account the next business day. If you need money for any reason, help is here. Go to MoneyNow100.com and get the money you need. Need to pay off credit card debt? Go to MoneyNow100.com. Need your car repaired? Need home improvement money? Visit MoneyNow100.com. If you need fast cash for any reason, go to MoneyNow100.com. Good, bad, or no credit at all. Go to MoneyNow100.com. You could get up to $5,000 as soon as the next business day. Go to MoneyNow100.com on your phone, tablet, or computer. Type in the address bar MoneyNow100.com. That's MoneyNow100.com.
And we are back here on Picks and Parlays Radio on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network and also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. I am your host, Chelsa Messinger. You can find me on Twitter at Chelsa Messinger is my handle. It's just my name. We had a great show, chock full of information and stuff you can put some money on. If you weren't paying attention, we got you covered. Or if you're just tuning in, we're about to recap all of our picks from today's show. So sit back, relax, we've got you covered. Starting off with baseball and college football from Craig Trapp. Cubs at Pirates, taking the Pirates as a value pick, plus 155, and staying on the underdog train. Dodgers at Padres, taking the Padres, plus 186. And then Ohio State at Nebraska, take the Ohio State University, minus 17.5. Joe Duffy gave us some college football picks as well. Duke at Virginia Tech. Take Duke and the under, I believe, or just the under. I'm not 100% certain. But moving on, USC to Washington. At Washington, take USC plus 10. K-State, Oklahoma State, taking K-State at plus 5. NFL picks with Tony T. Eagles at Packers, taking the Packers minus 4.5. Titans at Falcons, he's taking the Falcons minus 4. And Pats at Bills, the battle of the undefeated, taking the Pats minus 7. That's our show for the day. One last little tidbit, something I saw on Twitter last night. There was a bettor that had, I think it was like a 25-team parlay. All he needed was the Redskins to win last night. It was an 89-cent bet to win $500,000. And wouldn't you know, the Redskins lost. So if you're having a bad day, at least think that you didn't lose out on $500,000. That's our show for the day. Stay with us tomorrow. We'll be back same time, same place on Picks and Parlays Radio. Bet, win, repeat. See you guys tomorrow.